Police Department will forever be etched in our hearts.
Hundreds gather today to honor the life of a Phoenix police officer killed in the line of duty. Many people lining streets to pay tribute. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to West Coast Wrap. I'm Alex Savage. Officer Zane Coolidge was one of 2 Phoenix police officers shot earlier this month. Today's memorial service was held in the city today, and fellow officers promised to take care of the family that he's left behind. Fox 10's Lauren Clark shows us how the community remembered Officer Coolidge.
The soft tune of taps and a solemn salute to a fallen officer. Dozens of motorcycles guided a white hearse below a giant American flag. As hundreds came to Dream City Church in North Phoenix to honor the life of Phoenix officer Zane Coolidge.
Zane was more than just my husband. He was my soulmate, my rock, my everything.
His wife Kristen and mom Deborah remembered his kind heart.
A neighbor told me years ago that he had seen Zane driving in the neighborhood, stop his car in the middle of the street to get out and help a woman who had fallen while walking her dog.
An empathy his colleagues said made him an exceptional officer.
He often focused on victims of children and spoke out when they couldn't. Oftentimes, he'd be seen giving a hug to a victim in their time of need.
On September 3rd, Zane was shot responding to a call of a man attempting to break into cars off of 15th Street in McDowell. He died 3 days later in the hospital. He is survived by his family, including his 5-month-old daughter, Emma.
He heard us telling him that we would take care of Kristen and Emma. He left us peacefully, knowing they would be all right.
As they laid a hero to rest, officers vowed to look after little Emma Grace.
We will be there for every milestone of your life, from your first steps, your first day of kindergarten, your first graduation. This blue family around you will be here.
And that was Fox 10's Lauren Clark reporting tonight. The other officer injured in that shooting has been released from the hospital, and the suspected gunman has been indicted on a number of charges, including first-degree murder. We have an update tonight on a developing situation in Southern California. Today, power was shut off to dozens more homes near an ongoing landslide emergency. Southern California Edison says it's no longer safe to keep service running to those homes in the Rolling Hills Estates area. That's south of Los Angeles. Dozens of other homes in that area have been without service for weeks now.
I think what a lot of people don't realize is how much we depend on gas and electricity. Imagine coming home from work or from your day out and getting home and not being able to shower with hot water and not being able to cook because you don't have a refrigerator for food anymore and no gas to cook the food or electricity. It's just something that we take for granted.
Southern California Edison says these shutoffs will remain in place indefinitely. An infrastructure project is now underway to try to stabilize that landslide. Many Boeing workers have furloughs in their future. Today, company executives said they believe that is the best way to conserve cash as tens of thousands of machinists in the Pacific Northwest are on strike. Fox 13's Frankie Thompson spoke with strikers who were walking picket lines today in Washington.
For as long as it takes, Boeing machinists will be on strike and on the streets standing for a new fair contract. Soon, out of the office with them will be other Boeing employees placed on furlough. The company's CEO making the announcement Wednesday to no surprise to machinists on the picket line.
Us machinists are very vital to Boeing's operation, and it really shows them how necessary we are for Boeing to operate. We are the ones who build the planes, and so without us, the SPIA, the salary workers, they have no job as well.
More than 33,000 machinists and factory workers are on strike. More than 94% of the workers rejected Boeing's latest contract offer, which would have included a 25% pay raise over 4 years. Workers say they want raises totaling at least 40% and the return of their pension plan, which Boeing cut in 2014. Tony Hell has been with Boeing for nearly 37 years, and he says he's earned his retirement plan.
I felt like they actually came out and pulled the rug out from me in the middle of my career. You know, I had 26, 28 years in the company, and they come and pull that rug out.
In the furlough announcement, Boeing CEO Kelly Ortberg says executives and managers will also be furloughed. Ortberg explains benefits will continue for all affected employees. The CEO says he and his administration team will also take a pay reduction for the duration of the strike. But the IAM Machinists International president says the decision to furlough is all for show.
They've had decades where they've paid these outrageous salaries to their executives, they've given bonuses, they've done stock buybacks. Look, this is smoke and mirrors. That's the same blueprint that can settle this strike. They could put those same resources into their workers and settle this strike tomorrow.
On Monday, Boeing announced plans to freeze hiring and reduce travel to save money during the strike. Boeing says it maintains its commitment to its workers and reaching a fair contract. But union workers are challenging administration and the company to prove it.
They know two things. They know what our members want, and they also know what our members deserve.
And that was Fox 13's Frankie Thompson reporting tonight. This strike has halted production of several airplane models, including Boeing's best-selling 737 MAX aircraft. 10 people are being charged for a pro-Palestinian protest at UC Irvine last spring. They're all facing misdemeanor charges of failure to disperse. Police declared that demonstration an unlawful assembly, and ultimately that led to clashes. The protesters being charged include 2 UCI professors as well as 4 students from the college. They're all due in court next month. Today, a judge denied Sean Diddy Combs' appeal for bail as the disgraced music mogul fought for his release. Combs appeared in court for the second straight day after pleading not guilty to charges including sex trafficking and racketeering. The judge agreed with prosecutors' arguments that Combs could tamper with witnesses if he's released, citing his alleged decades-long history of violence and a pattern of abuse. If found guilty, Combs is facing a minimum of 15 years in prison. Tonight, millions of Americans are looking forward to lower borrowing costs after the Federal Reserve today cut its benchmark interest rate for the first time in 4 years. Today's larger half-point cut comes after a long period of rate hikes designed to bring down inflation. The benchmark rate now stands in the range of 4.75% to 5%. Fed Chairman Jerome Powell says the central bank is confident that inflation has largely been defeated and is moving toward that 2% goal.
Our economy is strong overall and has made significant progress toward our goals over the past 2 years. The labor market has cooled from its formerly overheated state. Inflation has eased substantially from a peak of 7% to an estimated 2.2% as of August.
During today's Fed meeting, policymakers also signaled another half-point rate cut before the end of the year. On Wall Street today, the markets ended the day slightly lower, but still close to their most recent record highs. The Dow dropped by 103 points, the Nasdaq lost 54 points, and the S&P fell by 16 points. Some analysts are expressing concern that the Fed may have waited too long to cut rates. Coming up tonight here on West Coast Wrap, basketball fans have a new professional team to root for in the Pacific Northwest. Coming up tonight, the WNBA's newest investment in Portland.
And in weather, here's our live camera up in Seattle. Mostly clear skies. The current temperature is 67 degrees. They get a break in the rainfall over the next few days, and we'll have the full update coming up.
When we're trying to take a picture, we can't just have like a goofy expression on our face and, you know, be doing something funny. They always have to like pose and look a certain way.
Also coming up tonight, some teenagers fed up with the pressures of social media are giving up their phones. We'll show you how they're committing to a social experiment called Rewild the Child. This flashy video posted to X today, welcoming another West Coast city to the WNBA. Portland has been chosen by the WNBA for an expansion team. The as yet unnamed team will begin playing in 2026 at the home of the Trailblazers. A previous WNBA franchise in Portland folded after 3 seasons back in 2003. Fans and players alike said they're excited about the return of the WNBA. A WNBA legend was on hand today, who now lives in Portland, to help welcome the franchise to the Pacific Northwest.
As one of the inaugural players of the WNBA, I say congratulations, Portland, and welcome to the W, baby.
The team is owned by Raj Sports, which also owns the women's pro soccer team, the Portland Thorns, as well as the Sacramento Kings. The FAA is launching an investigation into a Delta Airlines flight after pressurization issues left some passengers with bleeding eardrums, headaches, and bloody noses. This all happened on a flight that was headed from Salt Lake City to Portland on Sunday. It had to make an emergency landing back in Salt Lake. At least 10 of the 140 passengers on board needed medical attention. Delta says that plane was temporarily taken out of service on Sunday, but then re-entered the Delta fleet on Monday. Former President Trump will have a team of high-profile surrogates working to sway voters in the battleground state of Nevada this weekend. Former independent presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr., along with former Hawaii Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard, are set to visit Las Vegas together. They'll take part in a public discussion about the campaign on Saturday. Kennedy and Gabbard held a similar event in Glendale, Arizona on Sunday. Many struggling business owners in Arizona say the economic plans of the presidential candidates will influence how they vote. Fox's Kennedy Hayes spoke with some of those business owners in Tucson about what they're looking for.
Small businesses play a major role in Arizona's economy, employing more than 40% of people in the state, according to the Small Business Administration. Small business owners tell me it has never been this hard to make ends meet, which is why economic relief will play a big role in their vote this year.
It hurts. It hurts. Got to look at the end of the month. You can't look at on a daily. You've got to look at the end of the month and see what how it tallies out, and hope you've got enough to pay all the bills.
Richard Ratkovich says his family's shop, Tucson Mineral and Gem World, has been open for 60 years. He says he blames inflation for his rising bills and fewer customers buying gems.
I've got rubies. Can't even read some of these.
Economists say another reason some small business owners are falling behind is because Tucson's labor market is tight.
I can't hire anybody at whatever the going rate is. Everything is just as we have it.
That means that workers have lots of job opportunities out there, and employers are really struggling to hire and retain the workers that they need.
Our stylists were going other places to try to find higher paying jobs or going back to school or doing anything possible, and it kind of made this portion of the service industry unlivable.
Bree Harmon manages Susie Shear Artistry. She says it's a balancing act to stay competitive and stay open.
It's more of everything around us rising and us having to play the game of what is a reasonable price for us to be able to charge.
But one advocacy group for small businesses in Arizona says the biggest cloud of uncertainty revolves around the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. It was put in place by former President Trump and expires at the end of 2025.
Not only are small businesses facing a significant tax increase if Congress lets this expire, but Arizona's economic growth really hinges on Congress acting and making the 20% small business deduction permanent.
More than 500 business groups across the U.S. are calling on Congress and the next administration to keep Trump's tax cuts in place. Now, both candidates, Trump and Harris, have said they plan to cut taxes even beyond that previous legislation. In Tucson, Arizona, Kennedy Hayes, Fox News.
Crews battling several large wildfires in Southern California are looking forward to a shift in the weather. Here is a live look tonight at conditions in Los Angeles, looking off there toward LAX, where it has been dry throughout the day today, but There is rain in the forecast. For more, let's bring in KTVU meteorologist Mark Tamayo, who is tracking a new system that could bring some wet weather to some parts of the West. Mark?
Yeah, that's right, Alex. There is a pattern change, and so far today we have been tracking some showers, scattered showers across parts of the Bay Area and also out toward the Sierra. This is one of the forecast models, and this system here will be diving down towards central and southern California. So for Santa Barbara County, San Luis Obispo County, maybe some showers. It's a chance of some shower activity closer to Los Angeles for tomorrow, but the main action will be closer to Point Conception for your Thursday. Here is the satellite and the radar throughout the day today. And once again, lots of thunderstorms out toward the Sierra, and this is the system we are watching. As you can see, some clouds, and the main rain band throughout the day has been offshore in the Pacific. As we show you the view up in the Pacific Northwest, just a few clouds out there, but also mostly clear skies. This was the scene today, looking out towards Seattle. A temperature a mild 70 degrees this afternoon in San Francisco. Lots of cloud cover throughout the day. Temperature of 69. And then out in the Phoenix area, of course, they get a break from the triple-digit heat once again for today. Lots of sunshine. Temperatures still getting close to 100 degrees in the upper 90s at 97. Current numbers, as you can see right now, is Las Vegas is 83 degrees, Reno 56, and up in Seattle 64 degrees. For tomorrow, for your Thursday in Seattle, some clouds in the morning with partly sunny skies into the afternoon hours. For San Francisco, pretty much the same story, and there's that chance of some scattered shower activity closer to Los Angeles. Best chance would be for the morning hours, and then out toward Phoenix, lots of sunshine. Temperatures heating back up into the 90s. Here's a breakdown for some more cities up and down the West Coast. As you can see, Olympia, 68 degrees, partly cloudy skies. San Jose in the Bay Area will have overall clearing skies into the afternoon hours. You'll notice at least temperatures, we're not talking about any extreme heat. There's kind of a cooler weather pattern setting up, so as a result, we get a break from the dangerous heat over the next day or so. Here's the forecast over the next 3 days. It's dry up in Seattle through Saturday, but then by Sunday, rain chances could be going up. For San Francisco, temperatures trending up as we head into the weekend. Los Angeles, temperatures mainly in the mid to upper 70s. And in Phoenix, it looks like partly cloudy skies for Thursday, and then more sunshine for Friday and Saturday, around 93 to 96 degrees. So as we head toward fall into next week, it looks like still we're seeing a change in the weather pattern. We're seeing hints of some storms, but nothing too strong just yet. Alex.
All right, Mark, we appreciate it. Thank you. Rangers at Yellowstone National Park want everyone to learn from what one recent park visitor is now going through. They say a woman who hiked off trail near the Old Faithful geyser is recovering from burns after falling into scalding water in a thermal area. That fall happened on Monday as she broke through a thin crust over the water. The visitor suffered second and third degree burns on her leg. She was rushed to a hospital for treatment. Park rangers are stressing it's important for visitors to stay on boardwalks and trails and to exercise extreme caution near hot springs. This marks Yellowstone's first known thermal injury of the year. 22 people have died from hot spring related injuries in the park since 1890. Coming up tonight here on West Coast Wrap, an effort to get teenagers to stop scrolling and get outdoors. How a Utah nonprofit is encouraging young people to put down their phones and explore nature together. Also tonight, a heartwarming moment between a boy and an Arizona firefighter caught on camera.
This little guy was just kind of something that, at the end of the day, the goal was to give him like a sense of pride to carry on throughout his life.
What led to a spur-of-the-moment decision to make that boy an honorary firefighter. In Los Angeles, work got underway this week on a unique housing project. It's the first mixed-use development in the country that will be anchored by a Costco store. The project will convert a 5-acre commercial site into a complex with 800 residential units and the neighborhood's first Costco. About 23% of the total housing units will be dedicated to low-income housing. The remaining units would be non-subsidized, affordable, and workforce housing.
Getting additional Costcos in Los Angeles is difficult. There's not a lot of free land. And through creative efforts and creative means, this is going to be the first of its kind in the United States for Costco, this type of multi-use.
No timeline was given for when that Costco housing complex will open up. Some teenagers in Utah are ditching their phones as part of a social experiment that's meant to get them outdoors. Fox 13's Mark Blaine shows us how they're getting by while living unplugged.
It made me feel just like so unproductive and so just gross, and like my day was a waste.
18-year-old Lauren Fellers referring to how she would spend at least 3 hours a day on her smartphone engaging in social media. That is until a Utah-based program that gets kids to interact with each other in the great outdoors motivated her to cut social media out of her life.
We're right in the middle of the biggest mental health crisis the youth have ever faced.
Glenn Anderson is the founder of the nonprofit Rewild the Child.
The sign clearly says, listen to the rock.
I've dedicated my life to helping teenagers. I think the youth that are coming up are powerful.
But Anderson is concerned about how social media is impacting young people's mental health.
Depression, anxiety, suicidal thoughts, self-harm, it's all skyrocketing right now. And so we wanted to start a program that would combat that.
Sure. 3, 2, 1.
Not an easy task when so many young people are so concerned about the image they project in the social media universe.
I will be hanging out with groups of people when we're trying to take a picture. We can't just have like a goofy expression on our face and, you know, be doing something funny. They always have to like pose and look a certain way. And I think that's kind of sad because it's not real.
At the end of the day, Anderson says Rewild isn't about forcing young people to put down their smartphones. Rather, he calls it a challenge by choice.
You can feel it. There's like an undertone where there's some kids that are like, we don't like the childhood we're living. We want to live disconnected. We want to just go out and play games and talk face to face and like make real life connections.
Now, the participants in the program don't have to disconnect completely. If they like, they can use a Gab Phone 4 free of charge.
And what it does is it gives them access to still text and call, and there's a music app on there, and there's ways parents can track them if they want to.
Anderson says so far 60 to 70 kids have signed up for the free program. And though it's in its infancy, it's already getting results.
I can focus on being present in my life. Instead of focusing on what other people are posting or what they're doing, I can focus on what I need to do and just not waste my time.
Mark Blaine, Fox 13 News, Utah.
And finally tonight, a young boy in Arizona has been dubbed an honorary firefighter for being brave during an emergency. Last week, Superstition Fire and Medical answered a call for a girl who was struggling to breathe. As firefighters treated her, they noticed her younger brother was having a hard time with the situation. That's when firefighter Mason Norvell decided to comfort him by giving him a tour of the truck. The boy mentioned he wanted to be sworn in as a junior firefighter, so Norvell did just that. The firefighter says it was a real full circle moment for him.
Superstition came to my family's aid when I needed it, and that was a day where I was going through a rough time myself, and I had a firefighter do exactly for me like I did for that young boy. So for me to be able to give back to the community just like Superstition did for me was something that was very fulfilling for me as a person.
And Norvell says he got into the profession because he wants to help and serve his community, and what a fantastic way to give back. That does it for West Coast Wrap tonight. We appreciate you watching. Have a great night.